Welcome to Fargo Talks Fargo, an unofficial podcast on the FX television series. Fargo Talks Fargo is hosted by me, Bill, and my buddy Sharpie. This season of Fargo Talks Fargo is sponsored by Fargo Brewing Company and their always delicious Wood Chipper India Pale Ale and all the other beers that I do like to drink from them. And there you go, Sharpie. I actually said it the way I've always been meaning to say it. I just felt a little canned. How you doing?
It sounded good.
Okay. Thanks,
I'm
Dad.
actually drinking. I'm drinking coffee because
I just realized I don't have any beer.
I got a fresh Frenchie press, just like the one straight out of Varga's headquarter trailer.
Should I go get a beer? I forgot to go get something before we push record.
Go get one right now.
Oh man, hold on.
For the listeners out there, for what it's worth, I am drinking coffee brewed, or roasted, rather, by a brewery. So there you have it. This is Oscar Blues. They have a roaster in Longmont, Colorado, called Hot Box, and they use this coffee in some of their beers and whatnot. They just opened up an official Hot Box coffee shop down the street. So I went and bought some beans and grinded that shit up and put it in my French press. So, holy fuck, that's hot. I'm gonna let that breathe for a little bit here. Fargo, season 3, episode 6. You're sitting here with Sharpie. Bill's getting beer. The Lord of No Mercy is the title of this episode.
I'm back. How much of this am I going to edit out? All of it, probably.
Oh, hey, come on, man. Give me some credit. That was some riveting podcasting right there that you just rudely interrupted.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but, look what I found.
What'd you find? A Fargo Original Lager.
There was some behind a pesky carton of eggs. Ridiculous.
You should put an egg in it. See what that's like. Put a bird on it.
Put a bird on it. Okay.
Have you ever drank a lager with egg yolk in it? A raw egg yolk?
Not that I know of, or on purpose.
I mean, like a whole egg yolk. And just like,
yeah, I need you. No, you need to just explain this now. Now that we've.
I'm just wondering if you've done that. It's not like a thing.
Oh. I'm super lost right now. I feel like
it is a thing.
Well, what the French? What's the deal? What is it? Tell me.
Tell
the listeners what it is.
It's called the German breakfast, and it's so you can eat. Helles lager is good. Anything sessionable is good because this is something you'd be doing in the morning. Something to sort of relax your muscles, but also get some protein at the same time.
God, you stoners in Colorado do a lot of weird shit.
This is a German thing.
Did I just say Chicago? Did I just say Chicago? I did. I'm pretty sure I just said Chicago. I listened to a little bit of blues music, and next thing you know, it's all Sweet Home Chicago for me.
It went like right over my head.
I'm pretty sure it did.
I guess we will never be able to ever find out. Only if
we
recording
play
this
conversation. Back. Son of a bitch. All right, Sharpie. In a different fashion, here we are recording one day later, almost like the olden days.
Yeah, that hot dish is still warm, dude.
Oh, I mean, there's plenty of leftovers we haven't even had yet, but you know what? We want the weekend to ourselves to partay or sleep or edit.
Mostly.
I'll be editing another podcast that we haven't released yet. Maggie Phillips. Yeah. So I'm still not positive about your opening long shot, man. I rewatched it twice, and I don't think it's doing anything backwards. I just think it's a long time lapse.
Yeah, after I watched it again, I'm going back on what I said.
I really loved your poetic idea about it, though.
I think I read into it too much, and there just happened to be sirens outside Ray's apartment or house or condo or whatever you want to call that.
His shithole?
Because he does
the word you're looking for.
Outside Ray's shithole, there just happened to be sirens, and I was reading into it too much, thinking that, those are the sirens from the future when he's dead in his apartment, but now we're going backwards in time and we're seeing him stewing over his revenge plot.
Yes.
I think that's all it really was. I think it was just showing. It still was a time lapse. It was just going forward, like you were thinking. It's showing that he's just been stewing over this all night. Is what I think is what.
Yeah, it's a mashup of their remembering and stewing over it, like you were saying. I think we're a little bit in Rey's head, a little bit in her head, where we're just getting flashbacks to what happened, and yeah, and I think that's where once the cold cut drawer gets opened, it's game on, right?
It's game on. Yep.
I did pause just because I wanted to look in his refrigerator.
Oh, yes. Let's see. What is in a Stussy refrigerator?
Well, not that it has to be a reference to the Big Lebowski, but he does have half and half cream in there. And 2 little bottles of lemon squeezy. What I assume is some 2% milk. Some thin and crispy Southwest pizza. Some random stuff, some takeout Chinese, and a 9mm handgun.
That is your average Fargo refrigerator. I'd say that's fairly accurate.
Oh, and there was some lettuce, like some greens, in a nice package. I'm sure. For the days he needs to feel good.
The only thing you'd be missing from a Midwest refrigerator would be mold, I think.
And mine, yeah, because that's where I find beer hidden behind the eggs.
And maybe some cream cheese and pepper jelly.
Yes. Oh, of course.
Did you at all look at Rey's bedroom dresser as in that scene as Nikki's putting her shirt on and you're seeing her bruised up body, which was what probably everybody's looking at. On Rey's dresser, there is a photo or illustration, rather. Two picture frames of 2 illustrations. Yep. One with a spade and a bird in it.
Yep.
The other with a club and what appears to be a beetle in it.
I wasn't sure if it was a beetle or some other strange. It's hard to tell. There's something there, but
I think it's a beetle.
Were those pictures at her apartment though? Remember I said that she had some art that were cards too? I'd have to go back and look, but who cares? It's still neat.
I don't think those are the same ones that were in her apartment. That'd be weird if it was. I don't have that episode downloaded, so I cannot look.
Well, I wonder what happened to her stuff from her place when she kind of had to blow that joint with the fake name and all the shit going down.
No, you just gotta chalk it as a loss, I think. Do you read anything into those pictures? Because
I feel like it's just a continuation of the things that were already...
continuation of the bird theme.
Right.
It's not that the fact that Emmett is a bird, and the bird is on the spade, and Emmett is basically burying Rey with his spade shovel.
Jesus Christ. You know, when we talked to Maggie, she was talking about reading too much into things sometimes. I did still think it was really interesting that he has a dartboard with a bullseye in it, for doing fun background analyzation. And I also, did you notice in a couple of the shots, there was another one where there was like almost like the human target thing in another room just off the living room. You'd have to skip quite a bit ahead. When he's running room to room, I think we might see it. When they were knocking, when he's like, the heat's on, which I thought he said it's on, but he said the heat's on.
Oh, I thought he said, oh yeah, he said the heat's on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I want to know, I couldn't find anything about it. But I did at 2342, he's leaning on the wall and there's that smashing particles thing. And the weird part is it says smashing particles, and if you look at it close, it's a stamp. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait for you to go there. I know you.
What's the time on it?
2342, and zoom in on it. You have to use you were Mac users. You just hold the
2342.
Hover your mouse directly, or do you have all the tools turned on?
I see it. Yeah, I got it on.
It's a stamp, even it's a stamp because you can see the ribbons over it from whatever. So it's interesting tie back to the fact that
That's cool.
He's still, even the art in his place is about him being a stamp aficionado or enjoying stamps. So, and I guess since we're just talking about this, since we're bringing up the stamp, I kept I kept thinking a little bit about. I thought a little bit about the whole thing, right? The dying, and then I you consistently go back to Marge from the original Fargo, and when she says, you did all this and for what? A little bit of money. And I thought, well, it wasn't really about the money. It was about the principle with Ray, right? But then at the same time, it's like, no, but it started out about the money because he needed the money to, show his love for Nikki. And then I thought about even more ridiculous, this whole stamp, right? And how we assign this intrinsic value to things that are actually, like the actual cost of it. The stamp was 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally fighting over 2 pennies. It's even more sad and mundane when I think about the way he died.
Sure.
I don't know. It was. I don't know. Looking back at it and rewatching again, it was even sadder to me.
Oh, of course, it definitely was for me as well.
Like,
have we yet to talk about the stamp correlation with the movie Fargo? I feel like we didn't even talk about that.
I thought we brought it up just because it was the 3 cent stamp?
It was a 3 cent stamp in Fargo that Marge's husband was working on. Like, he was in a contest, right, to paint a stamp, and he won the 3 cent stamp.
It was the wood duck or something like that.
Which kind of goes with what you're saying, is like, because Marge's husband was disappointed in winning the 3 cent stamp, and she was just still trying to comfort him, but he's like, it's 3 cents. Like, nobody uses a 3 cent stamp. It's worthless.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how we got on this topic, but that's how our show works.
That's how it works.
Okay, so I think we can talk a little bit here though about this whole show, and especially this season has been tipped off to us this whole time. I think this whole season is really about truth and not truths and half truths. This Nepravda, all this, because this is the only season that I know so far out of all 3, as if there's like 20, where this is a true story and then the true part disappears. And I'm realizing that that's what this whole thing is about. That's what all this VM Varga...
No, this is not the only one it's been the same every time.
It's always had the fade out thing?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay. I'm just going to look it up anyway because I hate you.
Okay. I'll go to episode 3, and I'm going to pull it up. I'm pulling it up right now.
No. I'm talking season 3.
Yeah. Season 3, episode 3.
I know. I'm saying it didn't happen that way in episode 2 or I'm sorry, season 1 or season 2.
Oh.
Sorry about that, dude. Sorry about that. I'm talking about as a thematic mechanism this year that it really is, as much as we like Peter and the Wolf and all this, it's about the humanity and how it manipulates people through truths, half-truths, and things that we, in our world, perceive to be true, whether it is or isn't. Like I've had multiple conversations with my brother about the emotional nature of the stock market,
Okay.
Like, some company comes out with earnings that they're up. Like if I made $100,000 this year, which was more than last year, you'd be like, wow, Bill's doing good. But if somebody told you, yeah, I thought he earned closer to 110, then the more, that people would reflect more poorly on me because like, well, missed the mark, even though I'm up. It's emotional, and it's like, so these things that I'm thinking about, whether it's the Lehman Brothers discussion or the Galvero Princip, the guy at the sandwich counter lunch thing, which, we were like, oh, it's true, but it also kind of wasn't true. There's some stuff that debunks that. And then there's the moon landing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, it's all about truth and half-truth and misunderstanding, and because of those things, the collisions of particles of people and what that does. And I'm even more scared that I feel... Okay, here's a crazy concept. He talks about that moon landing. I think he was saying these things are all not true. VM. Like, he doesn't.
That's what I was wondering. That's kind of what I wanted to chat about a little bit. I don't know much about. So the first things about the Lehman Brothers, like shutting down a lot of their stuff and getting rid of a lot of assets in 2008, which is kind of the start of the economic collapse. That is an actual real New York Times headline. I looked that up. So that's legit from September 11th, 2008. Is there something that's like blatantly wrong about that? Because everything I found about that seemed to be fairly accurate. The one about World War I with the sandwich and Gabriel Princip, that is, debatable. A lot of things are pointing towards the sandwich thing not being true, but we do know that Gabriel Princip did assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand. That's on the record. There's no debating that. So that's sort of like half true. And then the moon landing thing is sort of widely accepted as true. So it seems like, but the way VM Varga's saying it seems like they get more ridiculous the later he goes in the stories. Like the first one seems like, yeah, okay, we're all on the same page. The second one's like, oh, okay, I could see how that's debatable. And the third one's like, what the fuck, dude?
So you weren't going to talk about the fact that there was a really nice big summer sausage hanging on the wall?
Those were a nice salamis. That is for sure. That's a
nice sausage.
That did make me hungry.
Yeah, I think you're right though. It's all these pieces of truth, things of truth, but my point is still, you can give more or less facts, and because whatever it is you can obtain about it, right? Mm-hmm. So for Lehman Brothers, we're super positive about that because we feel like we were there for it and we watched it. And then you go into this other thing and you're like, that's crazy. That could be plausible. And then you get to the moon landing and you're like, yeah, we totally take it as true. But I mean, the only people who really, I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying we have less basis for it in reality for most things, but you take it as a truth and you perceive those things about it because of the pieces you've been given. I lost it all.
Perception of reality becomes reality.
Thank you. There you go. That's a good... Wow. Why didn't you just cut me off like 5 minutes ago?
Oh, that is less fun. That is what VM Varga said in the show. That is a line from him.
That was the line.
Yeah.
Good thing I missed that. I did like
basically
the part where
at the end of that, perception of reality becomes reality, which is the world we're living in thanks to technology, which is what's interesting, and not to skip too far ahead, but that's kind of the interesting thing about VM Varga really not being able to get behind the scenes of Gloria Bergel because she is not on the internet. She does not use technology in any way, really, unless you count her car and her gun or something. But in terms of a digitally connected, networked technology, she is off of the grid, and he can't get information on her as easy as he could for Emmett and Cy and those people to get some blackmail material.
Oh, sorry, I had to click something here, so I missed you for 1 second. But did you say basically technology doesn't see Gloria, like door openers?
That's right. So now, we're in this world now where you kind of can believe your own truth thanks to technology presenting you with all kinds of options, and inherently, human nature tells you to pick the one that's more comforting to you. That's just what people tend to believe. People will believe whatever is more comforting to them based on their own experiences, not necessarily facts.
It's also sometimes confirmation bias, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know where I want to go from here. I'm trying
you
were
not looking
to do
at something.
I was just trying to decide. I wanted to talk just briefly about there's this moment in here where I think overall this is the beginning of, it's the tipping point in a relationship between Cy and Emmett, right? Because they start kind of having this argument, and Cy is like, what the hell are you talking about? We're not going to take on money to whatever. And Emmett just seems to be kind of down with it. And then there's that section I had to replay it, and I had to replay it and turn on closed captioning because I wasn't sure I was hearing what I was. But he was replaying a conversation. It was did you hear it? When those guys kind of faded out, and then it was just inside Emmett's head. He was having a flashback about mopping the floor and with your sock, or yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, I wonder what's going on there. Why is he thinking about that? Do you know what I mean? I haven't figured that out yet. Why is he thinking they're in the middle of making money? Cy is kind of going crazy, and here's Emmett who's kind of nodding along, and then the camera pushes in, and right after he talks about seeding them, that $100K in these accounts, and then they just start, and he looks off into the middle distance. So the thing I can't figure out is, this whole scene, that bear is always looming in a couple of the shots, and when I look over, I feel like he's just staring off, because I don't get it. He's literally stared off at something else, and I never figured out what it was, because the only thing I could think over there is like making soup out of your dirty socks or something. And I don't know what he walks over to the boards, I think, and is looking at them. But why is he thinking about this conversation he had with his brother?
Because he's distracted, I think.
What's the device for in this film, as a piece of filmmaking or television storytelling?
I think it's showing us that Emmett's head is just not in the game. He's thinking about what truly matters. It's his brother. This is where he's coming around. This is where he's starting to think about, what, he's got to end this. He's got to give Ray the stamp, and they've got to be brothers again. I think this is sort of like, I don't think
that's not this yet. No, it's too early. This is at like 8 minutes in. I think this is when he's still. Now that you just said that, I just realized I put it all in order because we were skipping. This is him back at I will crush you. I don't care how many laws I break. You resent me now. You'll resent me even more when I have millions and millions of more dollars than I have, because he doesn't that switch for him.
You don't think he's turned that corner yet?
That switch doesn't turn around until he realizes his brother tries to kill him when Gloria and Winnie say it. And VM realizes it before he does. And he's like, wait, you think my brother was trying to... And that's when it's just like, boom, bang. He's like, holy shit. My brother has committed a crime possibly and tried to do this all over a 2-cent stamp. And that's when I think he makes that decision to go sit in his darkened lower level place that he bought and just say... I'm done with this. I'm over it. We've been doing this. I don't think they would have really, really buried it, but
okay, that's fair. I like that idea.
I think he's just going to have to do it, because I don't think the real sincerity was in his face until he was watching him die almost. But I also didn't catch, since we're talking about that scene, I also didn't catch that the stamp was on the coffee table the whole time in brown paper, half unwrapped. It says "handle with care" on it. Did you notice that? It was back from being framed. Back from being framed.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice catch.
Second watch. This one, my second watch today was no note taking. Just watching.
Okay.
So I also think this is a very poignant scene in as another turning point. Fuck. Sorry. Another really poignant scene is this is also where I think Gloria pushes that one step forward in kind of a, you know what, listen here, F you VM Varga, even though I don't know your name, F you Chief, fake Chief, Mo Damick. She just is really off-putting back to him about things, and I think this is where now she's going to be hot to trot to mess with him, because not only is he against her, but she seems to know he's a criminal because of the way he's inserted himself into shutting down this story. Don't you think? Like her face, man, when she's like leaving that room, it's badass. I know this sounds weird, but
badass. I also her face in that entire scene is badass.
I actually I want to go back and look. I almost feel like they made her eye makeup nicer in this, because I was like,
they did something different for sure.
Who knows? Maybe
or
it was
else
a reshoot.
She's just an awesome actor.
Or it's a reshoot. I don't know. She's and Gary.
I think it's her attitude, man.
I think so too.
When she calls Varga out on making a truth, he's like, when he says there were 24 Hitlers in 1932, or were they all responsible for the final solution? And she's like, looks at him with that like crooked smirk, and she's like, 24 exactly, huh? She knows. She knows. They both know that she got him. Like, oh, really? You have that fact? That's a fact? You can back that up?
Do you know what that also was, too? For the first time, I realized, now that you say that, it's the first time somebody had shut up VM Vargo while he's spewing his facts.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the words he thinks he knows.
Absolutely.
And everyone else is like, they're always kind of in awe, like, oh, what? Huh? And she's just like, 24, huh?
Yeah. And I went down a rabbit hole trying to look up that to see if that was true.
Oh, man, you were...
I found one very obscure comment from a very obscure website, and that was it. One, that where somebody claimed that 24 Hitlers were on the books at that time in Germany. Hitler spelled with 2 T's, Hittler, and then like 4 Hidlers or something, like Hiedler or something. But they didn't say where they got that from. It was just a random, literally a comment. It wasn't even like a part of an article or anything. So take that with a giant freaking 4-pound grain of salt.
If we're going to talk
find anything else,
if we're going to talk about VM Varga things too, plus he also brought up a big Lebowski shout back for me, the Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov quote, which is straight Big Lebowski, where they were talking about Lenin.
Yeah,
I am the walrus.
He's got a boner for Lenin and Stalin.
Yeah, he really does, and that's what makes me, and tossing out offhanded like anti-Semitic things. I don't know what this guy's up to yet. So if we cut back to where we were, we've dealt with Ray and Nikki in the opening. We've dealt with the 3 lies basically. And I have to admit, I was thinking a little bit about the 3 truths, like things in a lot of religious theology come in 3s, and this is what is the episode called? The Lord of No Mercy.
People are psychologically drawn to 3s in every way, whether it's religion. In comedy, you always do shticks in 3s.
Sexual partners.
Sexual partners is always done in 3. What else? 3 Strikes, You're Out. 3 Stooges.
Yeah.
Three's Company.
So I also did like the coming to that Three's Company. Wait, what was the other one? Three's a Crowd? No.
Like I own a business, for example. So we always provide our proposals or estimates or whatever. We give 3 options because people are just more comfortable seeing 3 options. Like that is a proven fact. So 3s are everywhere. People like 3s.
Yay!
Yeah. Ooh.
Hey, we have a Tasty Freeze and a Dairy Queen. Will wonders never cease? That was
all they need is one more thing, and then they'll be good. What if you have a Tasty Freeze and you have a Dairy Queen? What would be the next step for that town?
Oh,
because Tasty Freeze and Dairy Queen are kind of on the same front. And now this could be a Dairy Queen. What do they call it? A brazier?
No, they got away from that because people kept saying brazier, so now they're called DQ Grill and Chills.
Oh, right, Grill and Chills. So let's assume it's not a Grill and Chill. You have a Tasty Freeze and a Dairy Queen. What comes next?
Subway.
I'm gonna have to.
Or the Senex station starts serving hot stuff pizza.
Oh shit, that's tough. I think the Senex station hot stuff pizza is next, and Subway is a close 4th. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because oftentimes I drive from Denver to Fargo.
Okay.
And it's about a 14 to 15 hour drive. Sometimes I split it up, stay in Rapid City. But on that drive, pretty much the only close to restaurant food I can ever find is literally Subway. I can't find a Taco Bell. I can't find, not that I would go to these places, but
that's because you need to read even
a Chipotle or a Qdoba or something would be good.
No, that's
always
big
Subway.
Big cities. No, you got to read Fast Food Nation. Fast Food Nation, Eric Schlosser, I think is who wrote that. He had a big thing in there about how back in the day, like McDonald's, they would franchise and they would have radius, a radii, in areas nope, you can't open one here. You got to get out of that so you don't step all over this guy's toes. And Subway would be like, screw it. Put one up across the street. We don't care. We just want to sell you the franchise.
That's interesting.
And they're easy to do. They don't require cooking really. That's why, yeah. I still love
And
the
they're-
Senex with the chicken. Then they get the grilled chicken or the deep fried chicken, Senex, and the hot stuffed pizza. Best of both worlds, right?
Best of both worlds. I was once in a Senex and they had chicken wings. And I was road tripping. I think I was with my mom. This is not that long ago. This is like last summer. And we went in and I just needed to get like a water or something. And there's this guy having not an argument, but something of a debate / conversation with the woman, the clerk that works there. And he's like, well, are these wings spicy? And she goes, well, yeah, they're spicy. They're buffalo. He's like, well, is it a spicy buffalo? It's buffalo. Of course it's spicy. And I fucking bursted out laughing, which is kind of mean, I think. But, I mean, it was straight. It was that perfect Fargo, like the TV show, accent. And I loved it. And it warmed my heart. And I have a pretty good feeling they weren't even remotely spicy.
No, not at all. Like I always remember that you joked about one time talking about the Midwest that they're like, "What's spicy?" And it's like, "Oh, it's got black pepper in it. It's spicy."
Yeah, if it's got color, it's spicy, basically.
Yeah, if it's not
if
white or brown.
If it's not white or brown or breaded, it's spicy.
Oh man,
and
this
it's
is
exotic.
This is how we get into long diatribes about summer sausage. Okay, where were we before we started talking? Oh, I'm sorry, it was my fault for bringing up the DQ and the Tasty Freeze. How did you feel about the gotcha switch device that kind of led us to Nikki and Ray?
Say that again. What?
There's like that. You thought we were gonna kill Nikki, and then we killed Ray.
Oh, of course I was surprised. I wasn't. It wasn't out of the question for me that Ray was not going to make it to the end of the season, but I certainly wasn't expecting it in episode 6. I certainly wasn't expecting it to be this accidental thing somewhat at the hands of his brother. I mean, I've seen people online, as I've read some reviews, talk about how, referring to Ray's death as a murder, when I completely disagree with that on every level.
No, that was not intentional. It was manslaughter.
Yeah, I've even heard it being called an accidental murder, but even that isn't even, that even goes too far to me, because, I mean, they're just brothers shoving each other. This thing happens to break and happens to hit him in a major artery, in good Fargo fashion too. So I was surprised, but also kind of elated and delighted by like the Fargo like nature. I shouldn't say finally, because that's not correct. But just coming into play and real strong. It wasn't off camera. It was true Fargo, like quirky death, murder, whatever you're gonna call it. Blood spurting.
Death by frame stamp. What? I mean, really?
Yeah, death by stamp. DOS. To hold on his face while blood is literally like squirting out, to hold on his head as it lays eyes open in a pool of blood. That's the Fargo that we kind of know of, but we haven't seen a lot of, unless you count. I mean, we saw Maurice get his head bashed in with a air conditioner, kind of. It was more gruesome to see him after the fact on the autopsy table.
Sure.
But that's, I think, what people have been waiting for. So I think, although it was a surprise, the payoff was just as good.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. I saw a really good thing thinking about, since we were talking about Nikki, and I cannot remember. Did we know exactly what her crimes were?
I don't think so.
She seemed to know a little bit more than I thought she was in the bathtub scene where she's laying in the ice trying to like nurse herself about.
Yeah, she's talking about like private equity.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, she's either been brushing up or something, but she's the brains of the operation. But I think now that she's gotten this heavy beatdown, and I still think that they were going to do something different with her, that it's just convenient that she already had all this beatdown put on her to pin it on Ray, in the murder thing, the setup murder fake thing. Mm-hmm. And I think they were going to use that somehow other way, which is why they beat her where she couldn't be seen, because it's an easy setup. Like, I wouldn't have put it past them because like it's this whole jockeying, like people sending videos of people doing fake sex and people sending photographs from this party to the parole office. And I thought, okay, so you beat up the, as he calls it, his bitch, and you beat her up and just say, okay, now we can figure out how to prove that he's doing this to her. And yeah, it's just, it all worked out, but
it did work out. You might be onto something there if that was part of the whole plan.
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, I just think it just dovetailed nicely into this. Well, I guess it wasn't an accident. What did VM say about it? It's about accidents.
He said, well, Emmett says he didn't mean to, and Varga says nobody does.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
I don't know. Different? I just that whole ending, just that whole scene from there was all pretty. This show doesn't go through a lot of like heavy emotion, like make you feel. I mean, you can be sad or bummed, but I mean, like, geez, I mean, all the way down to the I'm not less than you. When he's like, because we realized in this whole thing that Emmett wants to be, his goal is to be thought of as a cool guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I help people. I reach down. From his higher vantage point, and that's when Ray is like, hey, I'm not less than you,
Mm-hmm.
And so that there's all this stuff going on, and that's why when he's just like, I'm going to be the bigger guy, it's finished. I brought the stamp. Let's just end this. And I truly think he wanted to end it, the feud, or at least try to end the feud so that he can move on, so that he wouldn't screw up the rest of his life, but just too stubborn. You can't give me what was mine from the start.
Mm-hmm.
His sense of self-entitlement was really his downfall.
That's
whether
true.
Whether or not he was truly taken advantage of. He's in the process wrecked his brother's marriage, stolen money from him, and I mean really done this. Left a weaponized female feminine product. That's the
feminine hygiene.
That's from the department. That's from the Department of the Redundancy Department. But so yeah, I want to talk real quick about Mimo and Yuri, who's very little bit part in this, but okay. 'Cause we already talked in the hot dish how much we love the IRS scene, but I have to wonder if that guy's coming back. I don't feel like he liked it. The IRS guy.
You think he's coming back?
I don't know. I'm guessing. Let me put that out there.
It's
he may come back.
Certainly having your lawyer tell somebody to go away does not do you any favors, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, do you really think the IRS, if every time they tried to audit somebody, if your lawyer showed up and said, I don't like this, piss off, and they'd be like, okay, bye then.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're totally right. We'll get out of here. Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience. And then they come back with shotguns in exactly 30 days to the minute, 7:35 a.m.
Right. You're on it. But I did read, this one isn't mine. I did skim a quick Uproxx article, and I love this. I love this note about Mimo and Yuri, is that Yuri is the blunt tool. Right?
Okay.
And Mimo, if you just even look at the way they dress and the things they are, and Mimo is like this exacting surgical blade.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never really thought of that or noticed it yet. He's sophistication and quiet, and you're never going to see him. And Yuri is going to like walk up to you and you're going to watch him walk up to you the entire way. And then
you're going to watch him walk up to you, and then he's going to tell you a story about like mothers eating their children and genocide and massacres, all while holding a weapon in his hand. And you're gonna sit there and listen, and the only thing you can do is say like, "What the fuck? I'm getting out of here." Whereas Mimo is a master of disguise, a ninja, a freaking man in the shadows at all times.
Yeah, I mean, and even if you watched him in the previous episode, dude, he like slowly just crept into the scene behind Nikki. That's what he does. I like it. I do want to know what he's listening to all the time. Like, where's that guy's playlist?
We should make a Mimo playlist.
What we think he's playing?
We should have him, whatever the guy's name is, the actor, you. We should reach out to him and have him make us a playlist.
Yeah, he's pretty active. We follow him on Twitter. We should see what he thinks. Maybe we should, I don't remember the whole thing, but I would like to rewatch it. That's just weirdly strange. That Sonata 23, that Beethoven thing, and the whole discussion about Lennon. But I couldn't listen to it both times well enough because I was so busy watching. Sorry, we're really all over the map today, but I couldn't stop thinking about why VM Vargas sleeps on the floor, and then that camera turns upside down. And the minute the camera turns, it was like the color turned yellowish. Mm-hmm. Maybe he just has a motion light.
That's the third time we've seen that camera movement in this season, and the first two times were right away, like the first and second episodes, I think.
Yep.
Maybe just the first episode. I don't know. I think it was the first two. So we haven't seen that in a few episodes, and I kind of thought that was going to be a thing of this season. Maybe you could call it a thing of this season at this point, but definitely a nice little interesting flourish that's unique to this season.
Or somebody just didn't tighten the right knob, and a few times the cameras flipped over, and they said,
"Let's run with it."
They were like, "That looks pretty badass." But yeah, we know he has a bed in that thing. So why does he choose to lay on the floor? Behind his
stuff. And where's the sunny side up eggs in his mouth with his bare hands and then puke them up? This is a fucking crazy character.
We didn't even talk about him picking his teeth.
Oh, that was just brutal. We could definitely go for less of that. That just made me squirm, which I guess is the point. This character is a slithery, slimy, wolfy snake, and he is supposed to make you squirm. He's supposed to freaking make you Seifelt yourself.
I just realized that Mimo is basically like as cool as what's his face in the movie Drive. His headphones are his driving gloves, right?
Okay, I'll go with it.
Especially when he's just leaning on that bath. Go back and look at him leaning on that bathroom wall. I mean, there's got to be a dragon or something on the back of that jacket we just haven't noticed yet.
I bet he has a dragon back tattoo.
He's listening to Kavinsky, dude. If you haven't seen the movie Drive, you better go check it out, and then you'll realize we're not actually that funny.
I wish, though, this is when I wish we had video, and then we could just straight up cut into like a picture of him and that song going on.
Well, maybe we'll get there.
You also can't really do that song very well with just your mouth instrument.
It is not really the proper tool, but it's important. Now I can't stop. I can't.
You're going to it, aren't you?
I'm not. I wouldn't do that. That would be stupid.
So when we're in the Varga HQ, I don't know what we call that trailer, but you know what I mean. It was getting back to this something we touched on in the hot dish, the wolf that Yuri's holding. That is definitely a mask. It is not like a mounted wolf head. Now that I got to watch it a second time, because it has no lower jaw, so it's like one of those, classic wolf hat things where the mouth is covering the top of your head. What do you call it? Is there a name for that? There we go. Mimo and Yuri.
There you go. That was enough for fair use. Sorry. Now I'm going to listen to that after this. Yeah, you see it, and it did have a very feeling like you were saying. When I looked at it back, I don't even think it literally goes over your head like a mask.
No.
I think it goes over your head like a almost like,
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Like you would wear for clothing or warmth or something.
Mm-hmm. Like you'd see in any sort of, there's a million drawings of that. Your Native American, Japanese culture, they all have these, like, wolf headdresses things. A headdress. It's a wolf headdress.
Because it wasn't like the full body. I could tell. It would go past your shoulders, maybe drape. It's more of a wolf head shawl.
So what we were probably seeing, it's a wolf shawl. What we were probably seeing
shawl.
when we saw the wolf shawl earlier. So then Yuri would have probably been wearing it, and he was looking down. So he's probably just taking a piss. Here we're like reading into it as this like wolf in the woods, but really Yuri's just wearing a wolf shawl, taking a piss in the woods, and that's where the steam's coming from.
Also, consequently, Wolf Shawl is also the name of my new speed metal band. We're going out on our first North Dakota tour. We're doing
you have a Norwegian speed metal band?
Yeah, it is. It totally is. We're nihilists, though. All we believe in is rock. God.
We
really love
Limpy.
Yeah.
Wolf Shawl.
Well, Wolf Shawl, welcome to the show. We're here to rock you. Are you ready to headbang? Berserker style.
Berserker style's me Sharpoff on the drums.
You have to have one dude in the band whose name is Carl with a K.
And this is Carl with a K. He doesn't say much.
He just stands there in like one of those cut-off sleeve things with like a dog collar on, like the spandexy leather. Oh God, we're into some weird shit, dude.
And his bottoms are just are made out of a folded up thin and crispy Southwest pizza box.
Oh God. Okay, now we're descending into bad things. So here's what I think we need to talk about too. I want to do.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
Wait.
Do tell.
Wait.
Do tell.
Wait. We are in this scene. Very brief. Very shallow statement. But while Yuri's stroking his wolf shawl, there is a painting behind him of two boys, and it looks to be a wolf in the background or something. And the boys kind of look like hunters. So maybe that is a Peter and the Wolf type painting where Mimo and Yuri are the little boy hunters and the wolf is behind them, controlling them like marionettes.
Ooh. Wow, you go deep with this marionette thing and the puppet. I mean, do I need to play Master of Puppets now?
Yes.
Oh, hey, wait. Let's talk about a couple things.
Okay, you can continue.
It was really, really close, but not the Big Lebowski sweater.
It was really close, but yes, you are correct. Not the dude sweater. But do you think it was close enough
that I'm happy?
Yes. I mean,
I'm gonna go with yes.
It's a pretty strong.
You know, I love it.
Coincidence. I'm gonna go with yes. Yeah.
Yep, I'm with you. Sticking with it.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I need to momentarily go to the grab bag here.
Let's go to the grab bag.
There's no actual music for that.
That's our theme music.
I never in my life, ever in my life, thought I would get an email with the subject line, "It's not pee." And then it opens, "Thank you so much, Ruben," because he says, "After listening to the great Schwanz debate, I watched it again."
The great
and it wasn't the great Schwanz debate. And there was also a comment on Facebook. So sorry, I don't have my that web browser open, and if I do, everything in the world kills Skype, so I'm not doing that. A gal on Facebook commented it too, because evidently this is the one thing I got to quit watching it on like certain types of TV without good headphones, because I'll use Ruben as our thing, because he says right after that you hear him say, "Sit down, you've had a shock, you could use a drink," and then 3 or 4 people sent a note that said you can hear the cup being filled up off camera. So I was right. It does come back in, so the cup is empty. But I wish I could find
the other. He's not marinating his sack in a cup
Mark,
of urine.
there's a guy Mark wrote into, but there was somebody else who was made a talked about just the other noises that you could hear from him grinding his schwanz in the so I don't know. I need to go back and listen.
That is something I'm not going to go back and listen to.
Bucket list complete. If you wanted to have a subject line email that said "It's not pee," Just cross it off now, Sharpie, through association.
Okay.
Through association.
Thank
so
you.
you win too. But the Great Schwanz debate. So thank you to Ruben for making my day.
Thank you, Ruben.
Oh yeah. So
That makes me hungry
okay,
for some cold guts.
that was for some Schwanz. I don't know how to get us back into anything real.
Did we get anything else from the mailbox?
Nothing of like major note. It was just I think we struck a chord. Mark had a much more subtle thing. His subject line was mug. It's my dick in a cup.
My dick in a
So
cup.
anyway, I'm going to be curious to see what happens with now that Gloria, she whipped a B word. Some people noticed that. Maybe they didn't. She's like, screw it, I'm going back. So she whipped a B word.
She's
Which
all about
brings us-
whipping the bees.
yeah,
The whipping
there's
the bees'
very-
knees.
There's very obviously no sign there, so I felt safe enough. I want to know what's going to happen. I'm wondering
Don't we all?
because we're in real time, I want to know if she's going to somehow interrupt Mimo in the act of a cleanup. Thoughts? Go.
No. Mimo is long gone. He's a black ninja judo master. He is out of there. I bet he even throws down one of those little smoke balls when he leaves, and he just disappears, like Master Shredder used to do. In the
He's like the Prestige.
yes. There's maybe two Mimos in that scene when Varga first enters Ray's apartment after Emmett calls him. Emmett's like, "Did anybody see you?" And what does Varga say? He says, "I'm so rarely seen, maybe I don't even exist."
But
VM Varga is Tyler Durden. Boom.
No,
That's
actually, you
the
brought up
future.
a really good point. You brought up a really great point. Now that we're back to that, good for you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
He's just as much like Gloria.
That's true, because he's unsearchable.
He's unsearchable. Neither is she. Although I did find it moderately suspect that there was never an article in any online newspaper about her being promoted to chief. But whatever.
Well, it's unsure yet, I think.
Maybe her name's not really Gloria
She's not
Burgle, is it?
She's not technically chief. She was just very She was just very adamant about being chief in that one conversation.
No, she was the chief until, remember, the county merged.
Yeah,
So
she was
that's
the
why.
chief.
So she was a chief. She just isn't going
but
to
she
be
isn't.
anymore.
Oh, I thought you were saying there. Okay, so you're saying there should have been at least an article about her being the chief at some point in time.
Right.
Well,
I
everybody
need to
knows
send-
it's Eden Valley. Everybody already knew.
Yeah.
I wonder what the Eden Valley paper is called. Do you think they have a paper? You like paper?
Hey, I
Have you
just
ever
sent you a-
smelled paper? Have you touched the paper? You ever smelled the paper?
I just sent you a screenshot.
Oh, thanks.
I just sent you a screenshot of the. I finally found that other
Oh,
scene
yeah.
where you can see into his washing or whatever. It's like laundry room. And there's like Target things on the wall, and there's one that's like a human Target thing. I'm still curious, or if it's just set dressing. I'm sure it's just set dressing.
Yeah.
I think Gloria is going to step in some shit when she turns this car around. I don't think she's just, or Mimo's going to do his ninja sneak out thing, and he's going to be like, I didn't have time. The lady cop showed up. Or what did VM call them? Lady shoes, or no? It was really condescending, where he was kind of giggling, like ha ha ha, two women police.
Yeah, he is not giving them the time of day. He really is discrediting their ability, and I think that's going to obviously. I think that's fairly obvious that that's going to be a downfall for him. Just in the way
it's going to give him a flat out shit sandwich.
But
yeah,
I really liked that he said sometimes he's rarely seen. I read into it definitely too much. First of all, I went down this Tyler Durden road, and I was like, wait, are people actually reacting to VM Varga, or are they reacting to Emmett Stussy, and we just assume they're reacting to VM Varga? But I'm pretty sure I proved myself wrong on that one. I wanted to believe,
I really
man,
do love.
because in that
I
scene,
really
he's talking, and Mimo never acknowledges really Varga. Even when Varga's like, so Mimo says, well, should we bury the body or should we missing person? What should we do? And then Varga tells him, no, leave him there. But there's no reaction to that statement.
Right.
So maybe they're the same person. Varga is Stussy. Because why? How perfect would it be for Varga's headquarters to be on a Stussy lot in a semi-truck trailer? It's the perfect.
Your coffee is giving you strange conspiracy theory shit. He calls them lady shoes, by the way.
I've got a pair of lady shoes.
Ladies' shoes.
I think they call them lady shoes if you're a dude and they're size 8.5 or lower.
Okay.
That's what I...
All right, here's my thing for next week.
Let's get back on track.
Or for the next episode. Yep. I don't know who's going to be dead next because this killing off Ray, main character in episode 6, but I also think that the fact that it took us 6 episodes to get to a major death like this, major death, is pretty intense, and it's going to have to be even more intense to figure this out in 4 more episodes.
Yeah. But I do feel like this kind of happens every year. Every year, I feel like about this time, we're like, oh, bodies are going to start dropping now.
Ooh, let the bodies hit the floor.
Oh, God.
I think we're going to run into an interesting situation with Gloria. I think it's going to be some incredibly tense awkwardness because we're going to probably cut back into Emmett walking into his meeting with Sai and the widow, what's her name? You always remember?
Winnie?
Goldfarb. You don't want to make an enemy. Don't want to make an enemy of the Goldfarbs.
Yeah, we got none of the Winnie or the widow Goldfarb this episode.
What if we find out that they somehow Sai brokers a deal, sells it out, and bango, we find out that the widow Goldfarb is even more badass than VM Varga.
That would be interesting. I don't think that's going to happen, but I like it. Now that Emmett's Varga's little puppy dog and kind of speaks when told, I think we're going to see Emmett get rid of Sai. Yeah.
Or they're going to have a falling out of some sort because the fact that he was in trouble, and he was in trouble, and he called
Varga, not Sai.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a crazy. Well, this is very reminiscent of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of killing your wife with a hammer and calling Lauren Malvo about it, you call VM Varga. Am I remembering that correct?
Yes. He in season 1, Lester eventually calls Malvo.
Yeah, and then Malvo shows up and kills people with the gun from the back door.
Yeah.
A little more heartfelt. You know, we're not calling it murder or kill. The accident killed his brother.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got any hot predictions? I mean, I don't know if my predictions are that hot. They're just
I don't have hot predictions, no. Other than the fact that VM Varga ultimately becomes Tyler Durden in some magical way.
Oh, God. So wait, when are they going to steal fat from the clinic?
It's coming. Maybe that's your prediction.
No, it's not. All right, well, I think we got to wrap it there. If you've got anything that you think we're missing, you got to let us know because we're going crazy here. This slow play has been interesting this season, don't you think?
Yes, it's been interesting. I'm happy where we're at. I was getting a little itch in my pants there for a while there, but I'm good now. We're fine.
A little, okay.
That could have been
so if you've got any deep thoughts, we'll have plenty of time to think about it before the next episode, and we're more than willing to hear you out. So you can send us email at podcast@FargoTalksFargo. You can reach out. Just look for Fargo Talks Fargo on Facebook or Twitter. We're on that. We don't have an Instagram account because it's just pictures of beer. And thanks again for Fargo Brewing for sponsoring this season. So visit fargobrewing.com. And other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful long weekend if you're listening from the United States, at least. We do, crazy enough, we have international listeners. So to all of you international listeners, have fun working on Monday.
Yes, and if you are in the southern hemisphere, have fun being in winter as we enter summer.
All right, that's all I got, Sharp.
That's all. Yep.
All right, have a great weekend.
All right, everybody have a good weekend out there. Send us your love.
Peace.
All right, goodbye now.